This Leaving Neverland documentary has reopened the whole Michael Jackson having strange relations with kids thing. I feel like this thing has gone on forever. It's long been established that Michael Jackson, as a full-grown man, would hang out with young boys. Supposedly, the parents were around somewhere, but the kids would sleep over at his Neverland ranch, go to events with him, etc. It was a highly unusual scene. The only saving grace for Michael Jackson was that he seemed very odd to begin with, reclusive and distrustful. Only trusting kids and wanting to be a kid made sense in some strange kind of way when it came to Michael Jackson. Regardless of how eccentric Michael Jackson was, he never would have had access to those kids without the parents' consent. If he acted inappropriately or criminally, obviously that doesn't make it right. But what parent can relate to those parents? He was a huge celebrity. Cool. He was really rich and famous. Cool. As a parent, would you ever leave your child alone with a random adult? Much less a man, much less a very weird guy. Shame on all those parents, or whoever was the guardians of those kids. I'm sure there are still idiotic parents out there who would let their kids hang out with rich and famous people without supervision. Unfortunately, we live in a society that worships fame and money. Some people worship it more than others. But getting back to this recent intrigue surrounding Michael Jackson and the kids, I feel like we've been down this road numerous times, and thus far there hasn't been definitive proof of wrongdoing. The whole situation looks bad, no doubt, but it comes down to asking whether this is just a bizarre situation or a criminal one. And without concrete proof, I'm afraid there's no alternative but to have your suspicions and chalk it up to a bizarre situation. Michael Jackson is dead. The man is gone. He already faced criminal prosecution for these kinds of things and walked. The entire world was focused on this aspect of his life, and no real proof emerged. And you would think that if he did this kind of thing on a regular basis, everyone knew, public opinion was against him, etc., someone would have come forth and had him prosecuted to the full extent of the law. That's just probability. How could you keep everything under wraps? Some people sued him though, and he settled. That doesn't really prove anything other than he was sued and he settled. Settling lawsuits is the norm. He's a rich guy, people want to sue him, they sue him, he settles with them. I mean, that's pretty standard. And I'm not saying Michael Jackson's innocent of serious wrongdoing, but allegations alone does not mean an individual is guilty. I think it's very distasteful to keep dredging this up, this whole Michael Jackson thing, over and over, with nothing more than people changing their stories about things and claiming to be his victims. If they were in fact abused by Michael Jackson, that's horrible. But considering Michael Jackson has been dead for 10 years at this point, and no one's providing direct evidence of wrongdoing, this seems like beating a dead Jackson. I suppose if this did happen, maybe they just wanted to tell their stories at this point, but on the other hand, both accusers defended their relationships with the famous pop star as being totally innocent when he faced criminal prosecution, and were okay with him until several years after his death, at which point they decided to sue his estate for money, obviously, and their lawsuits were thrown out because the statute of limitations has passed. So is this just an attention grab and a potential money grab at this point? Look guys, I'm not trying to defend Michael Jackson. Don't get me wrong. I just think this whole thing is really grotesque, and nothing has really been added to this story. Nothing concrete has been added to this story. So what is the point other than to just keep rehashing this weirdness over and over again? And it's like, there's no way you can decide, did he do it, did he not do it, is he just a weirdo, is he a weirdo who did criminal things, is he a weirdo who's just doing weird things that aren't criminal but they're just creepy? And there's a whole bunch of people associated with him who just liked and were attracted to his money and his fame. And would those same people at this point want to continue to go after money and fame, or did they actually get abused? Let me know what you think in the comments below.